Today I'm going to show you how to make this cute pumpkin bag that not only glows in the dark, it also has a reflective face. Welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda and you are watching Crafters Autonomous. I recently got to try out some Bling Bling Yarn and they specialize in yarn that glows in the dark and is reflective. If you want to learn more about the yarn, check out my previous video. But when I got the yarn, I knew I wanted to design a project specifically for the yarn. That's what this video is going to be about. If you want more fall crochet projects, I will link some down in the description. I've got tutorials for pumpkins, pine cones, miniature ghosts, so be sure to check those out. Also, make sure you stick around to the very end of the video because I am having a giveaway where you can win the materials to make your very own pumpkin bag. For this project, I'm going to use 2 skeins of the 50-gram glow-in-the-dark yarn and 1 skein of the 50-gram reflective yarn. I'll be using a 3.25mm hook. So the body of the bag is going to be fairly simple. We're only going to use a few stitches. I'm going to start off by putting a slip knot onto my hook, and I'm going to make a foundation chain that is 51 chains long. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to keep going until I've worked 51 chain stitches. So I have chained 51 stitches, and now we're ready to work row 1. So row 1, we are going to work single crochet evenly across, and I like to work in the back nub of my chain stitches. You of course can work in just the V's if you want to. I will work a total of 50 single crochet for round 1. So if we're working the back nubs, we're going to skip the first chain, go to our second chain, which is right here. And in that chain, I'm going to work my first single crochet. So that's 1, go to the back nub of the next chain stitch. This is 2, 3, and I'm going to work single crochet all the way down to the end, and I will have worked a total of 50 single crochet when I get down there. So here we have row 1 where we have worked 50 single crochet stitches. It's also worth mentioning if you want to skip the foundation chain and want to just work 50 foundationless single crochet, that's totally an option. For this project, I just felt like using a foundation chain to work row 1 into. So now let's look at row 2, which fortunately we're going to start getting into a repeating pattern. Row 2 is going to be comprised of double crochet stitches. Now, if you prefer, you can do a turning chain. However, I am a big fan of the alternative turning chain or the stacked single crochet. If you're not familiar with that, I'll show you that here. But if you don't want to go with this option, just go with a standard turning chain. But I'm going to go with the alternative turning chain, so I'll start by turning over my work. And in my first stitch of the row, I'm going to insert my crochet hook, yarn over and pull up a loop. So I've got 2 loops on my hook, then I'll yarn over and pull through both of those loops. So it's kind of like so far I've worked a single crochet. Then in that left vertical strand of what we've just worked, I'm going to insert my hook underneath that strand from right to left, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and that is the alternative turning chain. So it's kind of like I've stacked 2 single crochet on top of each other. That alternative turning chain not only takes the place of the turning chain, but it also counts as my first double crochet stitch. That means I've got 49 more double crochet to go. And I'm just going to put 1 double crochet in each stitch of the previous row. So this will count as my second double crochet. This is my third double crochet. 4th double crochet, and I'm going to work all the way down to the end of the row until I have worked a total of 50 double crochet. And that alternative turning chain counts as one of our double crochet, so don't forget to include that in your count of 50. Alright, so now I have worked row 2, I've got my 50 double crochet stitches across, and here's the good news, rows 3 and 4 are going to be an exact repeat of row 2. Now since I used that alternative turning chain at the start of the row, I will show you the start of row 3 just so you can see that alternative turning chain again. So to start row 3, I'm going to begin by turning my work, And in the very top of the first stitch from the previous round, I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, and pull up a loop. So now there's 2 loops on my hook. Then I will yarn over and pull through both of those loops. Next, I'm going to find that left vertical strand that we just created, insert my hook underneath it from right to left, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on my hook, and then I'll yarn over and pull through both of those to finish up the alternative turning chain. And now from here, I've just got 49 more double crochet to work, so it's just like row 2. So this is row 3. I'm going to work row 4 the exact same way I worked rows 2 and 3, and then I'll show you what we do for row 5. So here is what rows 1 through 4 will look like. Our first row is single crochet, then 3 rows of double crochet. Now for row 5, we're going to work a row of single crochet evenly across. To do so, I'm going to start by chaining 1, and then after I've chained 1, then I will turn my work. From here, it's going to be smooth sailing. I'm going to put a single crochet into my first stitch, single crochet in my second stitch, and I'm going to work single crochet evenly along until I've worked a total of 50 single crochet for this row. Here is what we've got after working row 5, and now we're in the part where the pattern's just going to repeat. We're going to repeat rows 2 through 5. So it will be 3 rows of double crochet and then a row of single crochet, and we're just working our stitches evenly and putting 50 stitches in each row. We're going to repeat this 4-row repeat of rows 2 through 5 a total of 7 times. So we've already done it the first time. That means we've got 6 more repeats to go. So once I work that many rows, I will have completed the first panel of my bag and I will fasten off. Then I'm going to repeat this exact same process to make a second panel that is identical to this first one. Alright, so here is what a panel will look like. There are 29 rows where we have our starting row of single crochet, and then we have that 4-row repeat, which gets repeated a total of 7 times. Now it's time to get out our gray reflective yarn, and we're going to make the face of our pumpkin. Let's start off by making the mouth. Going to put a slip knot onto my hook. And for this section, we are once more using the 3.25mm hook. We're going to use pretty much just single crochet, but we're going to do a couple variations on single crochet to allow us to really create the shape that we're going for. So let's start off by chaining 2. So 1 and 2. Then we're going to work in the back nub of the very first chain that we worked. So this is our second chain, this is our first chain. We're going to find the back nub and insert our hook underneath that strand. So the nub on the back of the chain, and we're going to work a single crochet. So pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. That is row 1. Now for row 2, we're going to work 2 single crochet, but we're going to do something a little different about where we work them. So let's start by chaining 1 and then turning our project over. And our first single crochet is going to go in the top of the single crochet from row 1. So that's just a normal single crochet stitch. Now for our second single crochet stitch, we're going to work in this strand right here, and this is the chain 1 turning chain from the previous row. So I'm going to insert my hook underneath that strand and now work a single crochet here. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. So we've essentially done an increase to start making our mouth a little wider. And we're going to work this getting wider, but we're only going to get wider on this side, and we're going to keep this top side flat. So for row 3, we're just going to work 2 single crochet, and we're going to work them in the tops of the stitches. So chain 1, turn over my project, work my first single crochet in the first single crochet from the previous row, and then my second single crochet is going to go in my next stitch. Now I'm going to show you something a little extra. You don't have to do this, but I find it makes the edges of my single crochet projects really nice. So to work my next single crochet, I'll first insert into the top of the next stitch, going under both strands of the V, and then once my hook is underneath, I'm also going to insert my hook under this strand from the turning chain. So I'm under the stitch, and then I'm also going to go through that strand right there. It might be a little bit tight. but I've gone to the V and then through this strand of the turning chain, and now I'll work my single crochet. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, you don't have to work under that extra strand from the turning chain, but I really like to do that because it just creates a smoother top edge and you don't have that little turning chain creating a bump. Now for row 4, it's going to be a row where we increase at the end. So let's start by chaining 1, turning over our work. My first single crochet is just like normal in the top of the first stitch, second single crochet in the top of the next stitch, and then I'm going to work a third single crochet this row, and I'm going to work it underneath the chain 1 turning chain. So I'm going to go underneath that strand like so, and I sometimes have a little bit of a hard time getting my hook under there because I tend to work my chain stitches really tightly. So don't be afraid to kind of pull the loop up big, so that way then you can easily get your hook underneath there. And once you've inserted under that turning chain, work your third single crochet. So what's happening is this side is the top flat side. This is where we're doing increases. All right, I have lost track of what row number I'm on, so it's just gonna pop up on screen. So for our next row, we're gonna work 3 single crochet evenly. We'll start by chaining 1, turning over our project, working our first single crochet in the first stitch, second single crochet in the second stitch. And since this side is the flat side, when I work my last single crochet of the row, I am going to choose to also work underneath this loop from the turning chain. Again, you don't have to do that. I just find it creates a nicer edge on my projects. So work that third single crochet. Next row, chain 1, turn over our work. This is going to be an increasing row, so we'll have 4 single crochet total. The first 3 get worked into the tops of stitches just like normal. So this is my second single crochet, and this is my third single crochet. And now for that fourth one, we're going to work under the turning chain. Again, I like to kind of pull up that loop and then insert underneath it, kind of going upward almost. Once I'm under there, I will work my 4th single crochet. And this kind of pattern is going to keep repeating. So my next round, chain 1 and work 4 single crochet evenly. So 1, 2, 3. And for that 4th one, I'm going to also go under that strand from the turning chain just because I like the way it looks. Again, totally optional. Next row is an increasing row, so chain 1, turn our work. The first 4 single crochet get worked in the tops of the stitches from the previous row. So this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. And then we're going to work a 5th stitch, and that's going to go under this loop from the turning chain. So this is single crochet number 5. Next row, we just work evenly, so chain 1, turn over our project, and we're going to work 5 single crochet across. This is 2. This is 3. This is 4. And this is 5. Again, I'm going to insert through the top of my stitch and then also go under that strand from the turning chain and work single crochet number 5. Next row is another increasing row. So chain 1, turn over the project. We're going to work the first 5 just like normal in the tops of stitches. And I missed a strand under there, so I'm working under both strands of the stitches from the previous row. This is number 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to have that extra 6th stitch, so it's going right under the strand from the turning chain. Next row, 6 single crochet evenly. So chain 1 and turn and work 6 single crochet. one in each of the stitches from the previous row. This is 3, 4, 5, and for the 6th one, I'm going to also go under that extra strand here with my hook and work my 6th single crochet. And now we're going to do another row of increasing where we'll have 7 stitches. So chain 1 and turn, work our first 6 stitches like normal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Missed that back strand there. And then my 7th stitch is going in the turning chain. All right, we've got the start of our mouth. Now we're going to create a tooth that is notched out right there. So let's learn how to do this next step. Again, I have totally lost track of what row I am on. That will be popping up on screen. So to start whatever row this might be, we will chain 1, turn our work, and we're going to put a single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then I'm going to stop there and I'm going to work another 4 stitches for my next row. So chain 1, turn my project over, and work 1, 2, if I can get my hook in there, there we go, 2, 3, and 4. And this one, because we're going to kind of have the flat section of the bottom of the mouth, I will also work underneath this vertical strand just to keep a nice straight edge when I work my 4th single crochet. And then repeat that. Chain 1, turn our work, and work 4 single crochet across. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And again with this 4th one, I'm going to go under that extra strand from the turning chain. Chain 1, do it again. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 single crochet. Repeat again, chain 1, and do 4 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, only one more time of repeating. Chain 1, turn the project over, and work 4 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, this next round we're gonna fill in this section of the tooth, and it's gonna get a little fun and funky here, so just stick with me. It's gonna start very similar. Chain 1, turn our work, and we're gonna work 4 single crochet. And again, I know that sounds like what we've been doing. Trust me, there's more to this row. So this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. Now when I work this one, I'm not gonna go under that extra strand because we're gonna do something else here. So earlier, remember down here we had 7 stitches and we've just been working 4 across for this section. I want to get back to having 7 stitches going across. So I've only got 4, I need 3 more, I don't have anywhere to work them, so we're going to use the foundation single crochet, also called the foundationless single crochet. If you've never done this before, I've got some extra videos that walk through that, and you can also follow along in this video because I'm going to show you the steps as we work this. All right, the first thing I need to do is find the base of the stitch that I just worked. So find the spot where I worked my last stitch, and I'm going to insert my hook through that same spot. Then I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Now, I want to kind of pull that loop up and kind of to the side like that, because this loop is going to act like a foundation chain. So now that I've got this loop that's going to act like a foundation chain, now I can work my single crochet. So to do that, I will yarn over and pull up a loop, so I'm pulling it just through one loop. And then I will yarn over and pull through 2. That is my first foundation single crochet. So we're going to repeat those same steps. We just need to know where we actually need to insert our hook. So if we kind of look from the bottom, you see that V where it's kind of pointed like that? I want to go underneath both of those strands when I insert my hook. So it's kind of like inserting at the base of the stitch we just worked. So I'm going to go underneath this strand, and then look from the bottom and also go underneath, let's not lose that first one there, also go underneath that other part of the V. That is where I want to insert my hook. It can be a little tricky to find, and if you can't get it lined up exactly, that's okay, it'll still work out well enough. Once I've inserted my hook into the base of the stitch, I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Alright, now that loop is going to act like our foundation chain. So now I can work a single crochet by yarning over and pulling through one loop, and then yarning over and pulling through 2 loops. So the steps are very similar to a normal single crochet. We just have to insert our hook somewhere a little different and do that extra yarn over and pull through 1. So we've got 6 stitches for this row. We need to get 7 all together, so let's work one more. I'm going to insert in the base of the stitch underneath both strands, right like that. Then yarn over and pull up a loop, and that loop counts as the foundation chain. And now work a single crochet by yarning over and pulling through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And now we are back to 7 stitches. This next row is going to be a little bit simpler. We're going to chain 1, we're going to chain 1 and work 7 single crochet evenly across. So work in my first stitch, put a single crochet. This is my second single crochet. Number 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And this is one of those areas where I am going to also go under that turning chain strand because I want this edge to be nice and flat and smooth. And then repeat. Chain 1, turn over the project, and work 7 single crochet, just working evenly across. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and for that 7th one, I'm again going to also go underneath that strand of the turning chain and work that 7th single crochet. So this is what we are working with now. You can start to see the mouth taking shape. We've done our first tooth. Now we're going to notch out another tooth here, and it's going to be very similar to the process for the first tooth. So let's start by chaining 1 and turning over our work, and we're going to put a single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. So this is my first single crochet, second single crochet, my third single crochet, and my 4th single crochet. And once I work those 4, that's it for that row. We're going to repeat this a bunch of times like we did before. So chain 1, turn our work, and do 4 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is a row where I'll work under that extra loop and crochet my 4th single crochet. Yes, you guessed it, our next row is another repeat. So chain 1, turn our work, and work 4 single crochet across. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, with that 4th one also working under that extra strand. You might notice that I kind of grab it with my fingers. I just find that that helps versus trying to force the hook underneath it. Repeat. Chain 1, and then 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4, also working under that extra loop from the chain 1. You're probably getting tired of me saying these same instructions over and over, but yep, we're doing it again. Chain 1, and then 4 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, also working under that extra strand. And hang with me, we gotta do it one more time. So chain 1 and work 4 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, working under that extra strand as well. All right, here we go, time for something new. We're gonna start by chaining 1, and we're gonna work in each of the next 4 stitches, putting a single crochet in them. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this time we're not gonna go under that extra strand when we work the 4th stitch, because we want to create the other side of this tooth that is notched out, which means we're shy by 3 stitches, so let's add those 3 stitches back in using the foundation single crochet. So I'm going to start by inserting my hook in the base of where I worked my previous stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. That loop is going to act like my chain, like a foundation chain. So then I will yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2 to work my single crochet. Now I'm going to insert in the base of the stitch we just worked, going underneath both of these strands. Now we'll yarn over and pull up a loop to act as my foundation chain, and then work a single crochet by yarning over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Let's do that one more time. Insert underneath both of those strands at the bottom, pull up a loop, then yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. And just like that, we are back to having 7 stitches in our row. So now it's time to work on creating the other corner of our smile. Right now it's upside down. I guess you could do an upside down smile if you have a sad pumpkin. But for this next row, we're just going to evenly work 7 single crochet across. So we'll start by chaining 1 and turning our work, and then work 7 single crochet evenly across the row. Just put 1 single crochet into the top of each stitch from the previous row. So this here is 3, this is 4, and again I have no idea what row number we're on. That will be popping up on screen. This is 6, and for my 7th stitch, this is one of those times when I will work under that extra loop from the turning chain. So now that I've got my 7 single crochet worked, it's time to start doing some decreases along this end. So we're going to start by chaining 1 and turning our work over, and we're going to work 5 single crochet. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 single crochet. Now we have 2 stitches left, and we're going to work a decrease across them. There's lots of different ways to work single crochet decreases. I'm going to show you the way that I think works the best for this project. I'm going to insert my hook in the next stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Then in the 7th stitch, I'll do the same thing where I insert my hook. I'm going to also go under this extra strand from the turning chain because I just want those nice clean edges. And I will yarn over and pull up a loop. I will have 3 loops on my hook, and to decrease these together, I will yarn over and pull that loop through all 3. So I've reduced the row down to 6 stitches. My next row, we're just going to work 6 stitches evenly. So that's a chain 1, turn our work, and work 6 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. With the 6th one, I like to work under the extra loop. All right, now we're going to have another decreasing row. So chain 1, and we're going to put a single crochet in each of the first 4 stitches. And that'll leave us 2 stitches at the end to be able to work that decrease in. So this is my 3rd single crochet and a 4th single crochet. Now I'm going to decrease across these 2 stitches. So insert my hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, insert my hook into the next stitch, also working under that extra loop. Again, working under that extra loop is optional, but I just want to show it so you can see how nice and smooth of a result it creates. So then yarn over, pull up a loop. You will have 3 loops on your hook, and you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops to create the decrease. We're down to 5 stitches, and our next row is going to be a chain 1, and then work 5 single crochet evenly across. So this is 1, this is 2, single crochet 3, single crochet 4. For the 5th one, I'm going to also go under the extra strand. And then you guessed it, our next row is going to be another decrease. So basically we're always decreasing when we're going in that direction and just working evenly in this direction. So chain 1, turn our work. We're going to work a single crochet in the next 3 stitches, so that way we will have 2 left over to do the decrease. This is my 3rd single crochet. And now for the decrease. I'm going to pull up a loop from that stitch, go to my next stitch, and pull up a loop from that one as well, yarn over and pull through all 3. Now an even row. Chain 1, turn our work, and crochet 4 single crochet evenly across. So 2, 3, and for our 4th one, also going under the extra loop. If I can get it, there we go. So this is single crochet number 4. Next row is a decrease row. So chain 1, work a single crochet in each of the first 2 stitches. This is 2. And then work the decrease across the 2 stitches that remain. Again, I like to work underneath that extra loop. You're probably getting tired of me saying that. So pull up that loop. Yarn over, pull through all 3 to decrease those together, and then chain 1 and work 3 single crochet evenly across. So 1, 2, and 3, also working under the extra loop. And we are in the home stretch. We have only a few rows left. We're going to chain 1, turn our work, and work a single crochet in our first stitch. And then in the next 2, work that decrease. So pull up a loop, go to the last stitch, also working under the extra loop, and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 to decrease, and then an even row. So chain 1 and put 2 single crochet in this row. So 1 in each of the stitches, working evenly, going under that extra loop. And now we are ready to finish up this part of the project. Chain 1, turn our work. We've only got 2 stitches left, so we're going to work that decrease across them. So pull up a loop in the first stitch, then go to the second stitch and pull up a loop there. Again, working under the extra strand if you want to. I've got 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. One more row, which is just 1 stitch. So chain 1, turn our project over, and we're going to work in the 1 stitch of the previous row. So I'm inserting under the stitch. I'm also going to work under that vertical strand, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 to complete my single crochet, and now I can fasten off. Now when you fasten off, you have a couple options here, and I want to mention this before you fasten off in case you want to do this. We will need to sew this mouth applique onto our bag. We'll use this gray thread to attach it. So your options are you can fasten off and leave a short tail, and then when you go to sew it on, get out a whole new strand to sew it on. However, I personally like having fewer tails versus more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a very, very, very long tail so I have plenty of yarn to sew this on. Kind of a rule of thumb is I'm going to sew along the outline of this. So when I measure how much I'm going to cut it, I'm going to roughly go along the edge of my project with the yarn, like so. Again, this is not precise. But now I have a piece of string that is about the distance going all the way around. What I want to do is I want to cut my yarn to be 3 times that length. So I've got to triple it up, and then I cut my yarn, and this should be long enough to sew this piece on. So now that I've cut my yarn, I'm going to do my fasten off. I've still got the loop on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull this really long tail all the way through the loop, cinch it off, And now our mouth is done. Now it's time to crochet 2 eyes and a nose. Fortunately, the pattern for the nose is the exact same as the eyes, only we stop a few rounds before we stop for the eyes. So to crochet the eyes, we are going to use our gray reflective yarn, 3.25mm hook once more, and it's going to start very similar to the mouth. We're going to start by making a slip knot and putting that onto the hook, and then we're going to chain 2. So 1 and 2. And in the back nub of our first chain, so this is our first chain, this is the back nub, we're going to insert our hook, and in that spot, work a single crochet. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. That is row 1, we've worked 1 single crochet. Now for every row that we work of this pattern, we're going to increase at one side, and it's going to create a nice triangle shape. So for row 2, we're going to chain 1, turn our work. We're going to work a single crochet in the top of the single crochet from the previous row. So that's 1 single crochet. And then we're going to work a single crochet in this chain space from the previous row. So insert right under there and work a single crochet. So row 2 has 2 single crochet. Row 3 is going to have 3. So for row 3, we will chain 1, then turn our work, put a single crochet in the first stitch, a single crochet in the second stitch, so that's 2 single crochet, and then our third single crochet is going to go right underneath this chain 1 space. So right into that loop. Again, I like to kind of pull it up with my finger to get it under there because I work my chain stitches fairly snugly. Row 4, you guessed it, will have 4 single crochet. Start by chaining 1, turning our work, put 1 single crochet in the top of each stitch from the previous row. So that's 1, this is 2, and this is 3. And then our 4th single crochet gets worked underneath this strand from the turning chain of the previous row. So that's single crochet number 4. Row 5 is going to have 5 single crochets. So we start by chaining 1, put our first 4 single crochet in the tops of the stitches from the previous row. This is 2. This is 3, this is 4, and then our 5th one is going to go right underneath this strand here. So insert my hook underneath that and work my 5th single crochet. If you are making the nose, you are going to stop at this point and fasten off. And again, when you fasten off, I highly recommend leaving a long enough tail so you can use the tail to attach the nose. So stop here if you're making the nose, otherwise let's keep going to finish up making an eye. For row 6, we start by chaining 1, turning our work, and we're going to work 6 single crochet across. The first 5 going into the stitches of row 5, so in the tops of those single crochet. So this is stitch 4, this is stitch 5, and all that's left is stitch 6, which we will put underneath this strand right here on the end. So work single crochet number 6. Row 7, same idea. Chain 1, work 7 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 7th stitch under the chain. And really just wherever you can get the hook in there is going to turn out okay. Row 8, we chain 1, turn our work, and work 8 stitches. So again, the first 7 are in the tops of the stitches of those single crochet from the previous row. Single crochet number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, and then put number 8 under this strand right there. Only 2 more rows. So row 9, we're going to chain 1, turn our work 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whoop, make sure you go under both strands of the stitches, 8, and then put that 9th stitch under the strand from the turning chain. And 1 more row, row 10. We chain 1, turn our work, and we're going to work 10 single crochet across. These first 9 single crochet are being worked in the tops of the 9 single crochet from the previous row. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And our 10th and final stitch is going to get worked under this strand from the turning chain. Once you have worked those 10 rows, that is all you need to do to crochet the eye. Again, we'll fasten off and again try to leave extra so that way you can sew the applique onto the bag later. You will need to make 2 eyes and 1 nose. Alright, we've got most of our bag crocheted. Now it's time for assembly and then we'll add a strap at the very end. I'm going to start by attaching the panels so I get kind of all the orange out of the way, and then we will attach the face. If we look at our panels, they look pretty similar either way. It's a little hard to see on camera, but because we had those rows of single crochet, it added just this subtle bit of texture and ribbing where we kind of have these sections that stand out a little bit more. Hopefully you can see on camera how there's kind of these vertical ridges. Again, it's a very subtle texture, but the goal is just give it a little bit of that vertical ridging, kind of like pumpkins have. So I want this ridging, this particular side of my project, to be on the outside. The tail piece you start with goes in the top left corner. The tail piece you end with goes in the top right corner. If you have your panel laid like that, this side here is the side that we want to be the outside of the bag. Same thing with this panel. So right now I have the right sides facing up. What I want to do is I want to put them together with the wrong sides going against each other. So the right sides facing out. And now I am going to join these 2 panels together by very simply single crocheting around the edge. You can attach these however you want. I personally just like the look of single crocheting around the edge. I think it adds a nice bit of detail and texture, and I'll show you how we do that. I'm going to single crochet it together with the orange, as you might have guessed, although it would be fun if you crocheted it together with the gray, whatever you want to do. I'm going to start by putting a slip knot on my hook. I'm going to start at this corner and I'm going to work around the 3 sides in that direction, leaving this open to be the top of the bag. So let's zoom in on these 2 panels here. Alright, so again I've got the slip knot on my hook, and I'm going to insert my hook through this front panel through the rightmost stitch along this edge. Then I will go to the back panel and insert my hook through the rightmost stitch on that edge of the second panel. And now I'm going to work a single crochet stitch. So I will yarn over and pull it through both of the panels, then yarn over and pull through 2 loops to create my first single crochet. Then I'm going to go to the next stitch. So insert under the next stitch of the first panel, insert under the next stitch of the back panel, and work a single crochet. So yarn over and pull that loop through both panels, 2 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going to repeat this process the whole way down this side of the bag, inserting under the next stitch of the front panel and the next stitch of the back panel and working a single crochet into those 2 stitches, and that's going to join the panels together. I'm going to work all the way down this edge. I'll show you how we do with the corner and along the bottom of the bag. Alright, so if everything was lined up correctly, you should have worked 50 single crochet on down this long side of the bag. Now let's work around the corner and work across the bottom of the bag. Alright, first thing we're going to do is this spot right here, that's the corner, we're going to put 2 more stitches in this exact same spot so that we have a total of 3 stitches here, so that way we can get around the corner. So I'm going to insert through the same spot where I worked the previous stitch, and work a second single crochet into that spot, and then insert one more time and work a third single crochet into that spot. And now we are ready to start working down the bottom of the bag. Unfortunately, the bottom of the bag we're working in the sides of stitches versus along the side here we were working in the tops of stitches, so it was really easy to see where to work. So we're going to have to be extra vigilant as we go down the side because we want to make sure that our rows are lining up correctly, because we don't want to get to the end of the bag and it be offset like this. So you want to make sure you're keeping the rows lined up properly, and we're going to have to play around with spacing our stitches evenly. A generally good rule of thumb is to put 2 single crochet in the end of every double crochet row and 1 single crochet in the end of every single crochet row. So here's what I mean by that. We've already worked our corner, so that's going to count as working in the end of that single crochet. So then we have our double crochet row here. I'm going to work probably 2 single crochet stitches along the edge of this stitch. So I will insert through this front panel, go to the back panel, find the same double crochet stitch that corresponds, insert underneath that, and work a single crochet. And we'll put a single crochet here. So a second one into the side of that double crochet. All right, now we're at our next row of double crochet. We'll put just 1 into this one. As you might have gathered, when we are spacing single crochet along the bottom, we're kind of just making it up. Whatever seems like it's a good distance. The most important thing is that we keep our panels lined up. We may end up working different numbers of stitches along the bottom. Just try to space them as evenly as you can, and so long as you keep the panels lined up, everything should work out fine. So I'm kind of averaging 2 stitches per row of double crochet, and I'm not really working in the single crochet row is kind of what I'm finding. So across the 4-row repeat, I'm working about 6 stitches. The main thing is to just be consistent with yourself. So I'm going to finish working along this bottom edge, and then we'll work back up the next side. Alright, so I have crocheted along the bottom edge. It ended up taking me 47 stitches to get across. And if we look at the bag, it's only a little bit taller than it is wide at the bottom. 47 is a little less than 50. I feel like that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Again, don't stress yourself out about this part. Just try to place it evenly. It will turn out okay. Now we need to sew up this third side. So I'm going to start by creating my corner, which means I'm going to work 3 single crochet into a spot. So in my front panel, I'm going to find the rightmost stitch along the edge. It'll be a top of a stitch. I'm going to insert my hook through there. And same on the opposite side. Now, sometimes it can be hard to tell like where exactly it is to work. If you're not sure, you can go to the left side and count to the right and count to 50. And that'll tell you exactly where you need to work on that second panel. So when I count from the left, this right here is stitch 49. So I need to go to the right one more to get to stitch 50. And it's kind of curled over a little bit. But right under there, I've gone through both panels, so I'm going to work a single crochet, and then to finish getting around the corner, I'm going to put 2 more single crochet into that exact same spot. So this is my second single crochet into this same space, and a third single crochet, all in the same spot. And now we are back to smooth sailing because we're looking at the tops of stitches, so it's a lot easier to see where I need to work. So through my front panel, go to the next stitch. On my back panel, go through the next stitch and work a single crochet. So yarn over, pull through everything, pull through 2, go to my next pair of stitches, insert underneath both of them, work a single crochet, and I'm going to work all the way up to the top edge. All right, I worked my 50 down this side. I'm going to cut my yarn, pull that strand on through, and fasten off. So now my bag piece is assembled. Let's add the appliques. I'm refilming this because the first time I filmed it, I was kind of like, you're on your own, good luck. But I do want to give some actual helpful tips and pointers. So first of all, you want to make sure that your face is going to line up the way you want it to. So you can count how many rows you have all together, which should be 29, and find the middle row so you can line up all your appliques evenly centered left and right. Vertically, I kind of just slapped it on there and didn't worry too much about the spacing between the eyes and nose and the nose and mouth. But when I sew each piece on, I did my best to keep things lined up evenly across. And where I'm at now is I have one eye left to sew on, and I want to show you the basically easiest way to do this, so that way you can quickly get it sewn together, line it up really well, and also not sew through both panels of the bag. So I'm going to get a tapestry needle and put my long tail of yarn onto my needle. And the basic idea is I'm just going to go down and up and down and up through my applique. But here's the trick. You want to get something like a notebook or a piece of cardboard. In my case, I'm using a random instructions manual that I found sitting around. And you want to put it into your bag. This way, as we run the needle through, there's no risk of the needle going through both panels of the bag. It will only go through this top side, and that's going to make it super easy to sew this together. So I want to make sure that I line up going across with this eye, and I also want it over the same amount that that eye is. So I need it to be right about there. And what I'm going to do to make this sewing really easy is I'm going to go down with my needle. I'm kind of rubbing against the instruction manual that's under there. And then go up a little further over. And then pull my tail on through. And you don't need to pull that tightly, to be honest. And then I'm going to keep repeating this. And the notebook or instructions manual or whatever you have dividing it makes it so that we can just go down and then scoop back up. Go down, scoop back up really easily. You can also use a bent tapestry needle for this step to kind of scoop under there a little bit more easily, but this does not have to be perfect by any means. Again, just pay attention, try to get things lined up nicely, but I'm just going down and then scooping up. And having that divider between the two sides of my bag prevents me from going through both layers at once. I feel like this eye might be slightly lower than my other one accidentally, but oh well. Okay, I'm also going to take this tail piece and pull it underneath because I don't want to have to sew that in, so we might as well just hide it underneath the bottom. But I'm going to finish sewing around in the same manner. And you know, just don't pull things too tight. Make sure things look good as you go around, and then I'll show you how I deal with the end. All right, I've gone all the way around. Now to finish it up, I'm just going to send my needle through to the inside of my bag. Pull that excess on through. I'll slide out my instructions manual, and I'll inside out the bag, and I'm going to tie it off on the underside here. I just like to tie several knots, cinch it down. There's nothing fancy about the way I'm doing this. I honestly just kind of make it up every time. And then once I've tied it off, I want to come to the front, and if need be, I might need to kind of pull up the eye. Like on this one, it pulled the corner of the eye way under, so I just kind of popped it up. And now we've got our face on our pumpkin. So we only have two parts of this project left, and that would be adding our handle, and then the most frustrating part, weaving in all the ends. So let's talk handles. I am going to double up on my yarn and work with both the reflective and the glow strand at the same time. And I'm going to go up to a 4.25 millimeter hook since I'm working with two strands and they'll be thicker than just one strand. So holding our two strands together, let's start off by making a slip knot. We're going to put that slip knot onto our 4.25 millimeter crochet hook. Then we're going to come to the top of our bag. I'm going to count in a few rows, so I'm going to count in my first 3 double crochet rows, and then across these next stitches is where I'm going to work my handle. You don't have to line this up exactly, I'm just giving you kind of an idea, and you do want to keep an eye out where you start on this side, so when you get to the other side, you can keep it even. But 1, 2, 3 rows, so I'm going to come to this next double crochet row, and I'm going to find a spot to insert my hook, and I'm going to work a single crochet with both strands. And then I'll put another single crochet into the top of the bag, put another single crochet in, just kind of working along evenly. Put one in here. And I think I'm going to do 5 stitches for the width of my handle. And when I insert, I like to make sure I go under multiple strands versus under just one strand, just so that way it has a really nice strong hold. So I've decided I'm going to work my strap 5 single crochet wide, and now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to work single crochet back and forth. So I'll chain 1, turn over my work, and then work 5 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I'll keep going. Chain 1, turn my work, and work 5 single crochet across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And on this 5th one, I'll go under this extra loop. Again, you don't have to. And I'm going to keep repeating this until my strap is the length I want, and then I'll show you how we attach on the opposite side. Alright, so I have worked at my handle. I ended up shrinking it down to just 4 single crochet stitches wide, and I did 51 rows of that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut my yarn, leaving a long enough tail so I can sew the other end of this handle on. Once I cut my yarn, I'm going to pull that tail through my loop to fasten off, and now I'm ready to sew it to the bag. Now when we sew the other end of our handle on, we want to make sure we line it up like we did the other side. So if you remember over here, I came in 1, 2, 3 double crochet rows and then attached it. So on this side, I will also come in 1, 2, 3 double crochet rows, which means it'll need to line up right about here. And to attach this, I'm going to use a whip stitch. So I'm going to go down through my fabric and then up through the top of this single crochet. Pull it on through. Then I'm going to go down through the fabric of my bag and up through the next stitch. Down through the fabric of the bag, up through the next stitch. And I'm pulling everything nice and snug to go along here. Then one last stitch. And when I go through this last one, I'm going to go through those V's and then also through that loop from the chain 1 to just really nicely catch it in there. I'm going to snug it up until I like the way it looks. And then I'll run my thread back down through the bag and tie a knot at this end to secure it. And at this point, all I have to do is repeat the process of adding the handle for the other side to add a second handle, weave in my ends, and then my pumpkin bag will be all ready to use. Before I show you the finished bag, I do just want to show how much yarn is left over. We've got 0.4 ounces of the orange left over. I'll pop up on screen how much yardage that translates into, and 0.8 ounces of the gray left over. Again, I'll pop up with how much yardage that translates to. The reason I mention this is I want to show that truly with just these 3 skeins of yarn, you can make this entire project and you will have some left over. So there's 2 takeaways from that. One is you don't need to worry about gauge because you've got wiggle room with the amount that's left over. And 2, this can be helpful if you want to make your handles longer. So just know that if you want to make your handles longer, you've got some wiggle room there with the yarn. here is the finished project. I think this is so cute. This would be great for a kid or like your grandkids for going trick-or-treating, but honestly, you know what, I'm an adult, I'm gonna be carrying this bag around for the next few months. I'll wear my pumpkin earrings, carry my pumpkin bag, it'll be awesome. Alrighty, what you've stuck around for is information for the giveaway. What you can win is 2 skeins of the glow-in-the-dark yarn and 1 skein of the reflective yarn in the same colors I used here. This giveaway is only open to residents of the US. I am so sorry to everyone who lives outside the US, but between cost and giveaway rules of other countries, it's just prohibitive to be able to open it up globally. I truly do wish I could include everyone in this giveaway, but I do need to restrict it to the US. But for those of you here in the US who are able to enter, it's very simple to enter. All you need to do is leave a comment down below on this video, whatever you want it to be. You can tell me about an upcoming project, what you're excited about the most for fall, how your day's going, or even just say hi. The giveaway entry period starts when I post this video, and it is going to end at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday, September 20th, 2024. Yes, that's a very small window for this giveaway, but the reason why is it's gonna take a little bit of time for me to ship the yarn to the winner, so I wanna make sure that I get the yarn to the winner as fast as I can so you can have time to make this project before Halloween gets here, and so that way if you end up not winning but you decide to order some of this yarn, you have enough time to order it, get your hands on it, and get the project made before the fall season is over. Because Bling Bling Yarn ships from overseas, it did take my yarn 10 business days to arrive, and unfortunately it arrived the day after I went out of town. I am hustling to get this video out here so that way you guys can enter, keeping it a short entry period, so that way you can get your hands on this yarn ASAP. As always, thank you so much for watching. Good luck to everyone who enters the giveaway. I'll have all the details about that down in the description, as well as my link for a discount code if you decide to order some yarn from Bling Bling. And as always, happy crafting!